Hello, everybody. Hello. This is Chris for the 18th of October 2020. How are you guys? Let's have some fun today. We're gonna award $20, the colossal sum of $20 for this week's design competition hosted on Discord. Let's share the screen and jump straight into it because there's no need for any nonsense. And let's see who's gonna win this week's contest. I already have everything prepared in Adobe XD just because it works a bit faster when I'm recording. So I still love Photoshop. This is still my first love, so don't think I'm switching teams. And these are all the entries for this week's contest. We have 22 in total. Truth be told, some of these might be eliminated just for the sheer fact that they may have not included the freebie they used. So even though we're gonna go through them and we're gonna analyze them one by one, even if I choose one of them, I will have to have a look if a freebie was linked. For example, this guy did it the right way. He submitted the entries, but he also told me what the freebies he used. That was written in the contest rules. Right here, yep, there you go. You must provide links to the freebies that you used, and if you use freebies, they may not be more than 50% of your design. So that's the one thing that I'm gonna initially ignore when I'm going through them, because I actually didn't go through these beforehand. I didn't spend any time, going through them, doing a mini review or anything like that. So this is all live, all one take. So let's start from the beginning. Number one, the Best Designer Podcast. Go listen today. Winner versus Loser in Web Design Contest by Chris Barron. By Chris Brain. Oof, that's not a good start. Spelling my name wrong. That's not great. Number 22, okay. Photoshop here. Okay, this is actually pretty good, so I'm going to leave it at that. Number 2, this is exactly why we have a rule about using freebies. This is basically just a freebie. Now, probably the designer also added this part here, but as you can see, he didn't actually do a good job. You can see the pencil is, whatever this is, the pencil, the brush, whatever this isn't. I think this is actually an icon that has a stroke added afterwards. So as you can see, it's not any good. Probably there used to be something here that was partially covered up. You can still see something here, a yellow line. Let's keep it short. We're gonna eliminate this one because it's not what I'm looking for. Now, these two people, I'm not in love with them. These are basically clip art, stock art, whatever you want to call them. These are, in my mind, specific to Microsoft Word 1997. It's something very outdated. It's not something that's not at all modern. And for me as a designer, using something like this, something that's extremely outdated and cheesy, is not in the books. So for that reason alone, these two are immediately eliminated. Even more than that, I'm not in love with the whole concept of someone tripping over someone else. Well, actually, someone causing someone else to trip. I'm not sure what message that actually says. Winner versus loser. I think I get the idea, but overall, again, it's not something that I love to be associated with. Anything that's stock art, clip art, you should stay away from it. People in business use that. Do a handshake. People in that, a black guy, an Asian guy, a white guy, all shaking hands and whatnot. Those cheesy stock things, you really have to stay away from them. So for that reason alone, that's going to be eliminated. This one is actually pretty good, pretty decent. Winner versus loser in web design contest. Okay, so this actually makes a bit more sense because keep in mind, winner versus loser, you know that this is regarding a design competition, right? You and me, we know that. But the rest, everybody else on YouTube, they don't. They don't know about 99 Designs. They don't know about my courses. They don't know about me. So it's really important that you clear that up. And if you don't clear it up, that this is about, a web design competition, if you don't mention that, okay, that's fine. That can work, that may work, but you have to make sure that the actual thumbnail is stunning, that it really grabs your attention. So even though you're not sure what the video is about, winner versus loser, you're still drawn in, right? So you either make it clear it's a design related thing, or you make it absolutely gorgeous and really stands out. Does this do either of that? It does let you know it's about a web design contest, so that's pretty good. I'm not in love with the fact that you used a shadow here, but you didn't use one here. I'm also not in love with the fact that you made the shadow at an angle. I hate angles for whatever reason. I think the only way to go in a modern design is 90 degrees, so straight down. Never use a different light source, that's coming from a side, because it just makes the whole design look a bit cheesy in my book. That's mostly because I'm so used to designing, vast projects, websites, for example. And if you use an angle on one item, you have to use the same angle on everything else. And that implies a light source that's coming from a different place, for example, top left or top right. And that's just not a good look. In modern web design or in most app design projects as well, the light source is coming straight down, so 90-degree angle. So for that reason, it's basically a preference. It's not something completely objective. I don't love this design, so I'm gonna eliminate it. Well, to be completely objective, the colors are a bit of a mismatch. This hot pink, my jacket, this blue, this green, it's too much. I understand that. Obviously, I think I actually spoke in the ultimate graphic design course. Yeah, I think I spoke about YouTube, it being a different medium where you can use very hot colors, neon colors that really jump out and stand out. But yeah, this is way too much. The colors really clash. There's way too much going on here. And it does stand out, but not in the right way, if that makes sense. So it does stand out, but for the wrong reasons. So let's keep this moving. Winner versus loser. Number one, okay. Ugh, a very pixelated image of myself. The concept is pretty good, but the fact that this is so pixelated, I'm not in love with it. This guy managed to get a decent photo. Why did this guy didn't manage to do the same thing? I'm not sure. So for that reason alone, you're gonna get eliminated for the fact that you didn't put enough time into it. Winner versus loser in web design contest. Okay, this is pretty good, but the actual image itself is lackluster. This doesn't stand out. It's not exciting, and I see what you did here. You applied the black and white effect that I teach in Ultimate Photoshop training, which is a nice throwback. It's a nice reference, but it doesn't really stand out, right? Most people would not see that this is actually, winner versus loser. This is the gold one, and this is whatever, the silver, the bronze one, or whatever. I don't think this works. It's not a good design overall. It's not exciting. It doesn't draw you in. The sheer fact that you use so much gray should be a warning sign. You're not gonna see many successful YouTube thumbnails that use loads of gray, right? That's not gonna happen. Obviously, you want to be somewhere in between loads of gray and hot pink and hot blue and green and whatever, right? You need a nice medium, right? You don't want to be on either side of the coin. Okay, this is pretty good, but basically this is just a freebie. I mean, probably you added these two parts here, but it's hard to say. I appreciate the line at the top with a nice gradient. I'm gonna keep this one, but I don't think it's, you didn't actually put a whole lot of effort into it, right? Which in general, it shouldn't matter, in a contest situation, it really doesn't matter. But in this specific case here, where this is not about the money, it's more about you learning how to handle clients and whatnot, and how to deal with projects, you should, do your best to show some technique, some understanding, you should try your best. This one here, this is a tough one because I hate it, and I'm just trying to put it into words why I hate it. The drop shadow is way too strong. You shouldn't use such a drop shadow. There's no hierarchy here. Everything is in all caps here, as far as I'm concerned. Even though we can see that only these three lines are in all caps, this one basically looks the same. There's no differentiation. It's basically the same thing. It's one thing, one style on 4 lines. It's just not balanced. It just doesn't provide anything, any variety. For example, this one, this is much more interesting, right? You can see winner, loser, and versus. This stands out, and then we have a different styling here. This shows some variety. This shows something that's a bit more exciting, right? It doesn't fall flat, whereas this part right here, it's as flat as it can get. So for that reason, that sucks. The trophy, for whatever reason, it looks like it's coming from the heavens. You know, it's coming from the sky. God is throwing down, is throwing some trophies at us. Yeah, no, let's just move on. I don't think it's a good one. Overall, it needs some variety, some constructive criticism. It needs some variety. You have to mix it up a little bit. Now, this one is pretty good. I'll give you that. Let's actually see it. Oh, this is actually okay. Okay. I thought this was cut off by Adobe XD, but it seems that this is intended. This is intentional. So cutting off a small part of winner is intentional. And my guess is that you wanted winner to be the exact same size as loser, which doesn't really make sense. I understand that you probably wanted it to be one single unit. The verses is really nice. And again, I appreciate the fact that we have some variety here, but I can't wrap my head around why you chose to cut off part of it on either side. That's not a design technique. It's not something interesting. It's not something that you should do. Sure, we can read it. We know it's winner versus loser. But again, it baffles me. I'm not sure why you did it. Because again, it's not a design technique per se. It's not interesting. It just makes you scratch your head. It just makes you wonder why did you do it? It seems like a mistake. Let's put it like that. And although versus looks lovely with this white text and black text stroke, this part right here in web design contest, it just falls flat again. It's something that you may not see, you may not read, and the fact that the background is so noisy, no, I'm sorry. Good idea, but poor execution, really. Poor execution. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, that's not great. Another photo of me, designer podcast, Chris Barron, 21. Okay, a bit too text heavy for my taste. My skin is way too dark here. You could have used the brightness and contrast adjustment layer. You should have made something that made me look a bit lighter. Because look at my skin tone here. Look at my skin tone here. And look at my skin tone here. Now I understand that you might have taken it straight from my blog or whatever, but even so, you have to make sure the image fits its surroundings, right? The font is again not a great choice. It's so chunky. It's basically difficult to read. That's what I'm trying to say. So for that reason, even though I like some ideas here, for example, Chris Barron being underlined, but it's underlined, as you can see, it's done in a very nice way. I like that, and I like how you wrote winner versus loser here. Overall, it's not tied well together. Again, I appreciate this outer rim as well. I think this is something that you can definitely use in your projects, in your YouTube thumbnails. So overall, yeah, you have some things going on for you here, but overall, again, the image is way too dark. The font is hard to read. There's a bit too much text, and overall, this is not a good fit. This is actually a mock-up. I'm not really sure why I included it. Sorry about that. As I said, this is all freestyle. Nothing has been prepared before. Let's see, man. This is yet again so few pixels here, so little padding. This is really disappointing because this was actually a pretty good design, but as you can see, there's no breathing room here. There's very little breathing room. I'm not really sure why that's the case, because you just could have made this text a bit smaller, right? 3-4 pixels, something like that. You need this decent breathing room, at least double, maybe triple of what's going on here, right? Putting everything together so close to the edge, it just doesn't look nice. And I think I say this in just about all my courses. So this is a bit disappointing because the concept itself is pretty good, you know? The concept is pretty nice when this guy looking here, but when you scroll out, when you zoom back out and you look at it, It's a bit noisy. It's a bit noisy. I understand why you also integrated the question mark here, but I'm not in love with it because as you can see, as you scroll back, and this is the actual size of a YouTube thumbnail, especially when you're on a mobile phone or whatever, it gets a bit messy. It gets a bit noisy. So I'm not really sure how you would improve this. Again, definitely increase the amount of space here on the left side and the top side. And here I'm not really sure. The illustrations, yeah, they're gorgeous, but it's, if you're not looking at it like this, really zoomed in, it really pales in its beauty. Winner versus loser. Okay, this is pretty good. This is a great concept. I love it. You know, showing the before and after basically, but you failed one specific thing, and that's the check mark. The check mark should have been way bigger. It should have been considerably bigger because yeah, it's just not clear. It's just not clear. Okay. I didn't manage to get your HD image, that's why I'm eliminated? Yes, indeed, because clients don't care. Because clients only see your result and they don't care if you were sick, if your cat ran away, if you broke your arm, nothing matters. The only thing that matters is your result. So because of that, even though you may have valid excuses, at the end of the day, that's all they are, excuses. So I'm judging you not based on your username, not based on anything else, just what I see here. And if I see something here that's not right, I'm gonna tell it like it is. So the purpose is not to actually insult anyone, but just to provide constructive criticism and obviously have some fun with it as well. A bit of fun never hurt anyone, so please don't take it too personally. Don't take it too seriously, because I'm trying to be constructive, but again, from time to time I will insert a comment that's a bit more on the funnier side. So this is pretty good. I'm gonna keep it, but again, I would have liked to see something a bit, maybe the winner a bit bigger, maybe a check mark that's brighter, maybe a stroke around it, something like that that shows that okay, this is the actual winner. Moving on, winner versus loser. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. I think there's nothing really in particular to analyze here. Pretty good design. I think the fact that you added stars here is a nice touch. I don't think most people are gonna see it, are gonna recognize it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it. Let's move on. Winner versus loser in a design contest. So, playing around with two winner loser design. I see what you try to do here. It makes sense, right? You chose two font sizes, two stylings. It's a decent idea. I can't say I'm in love with it. I can say that I'm in love with this specific rectangle here that you edited slightly with the direct selection tool. The background photo doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a decent one. I'm not gonna eliminate it, but I don't think it's the winner. I don't think, for the YouTube thumbnail, this shows, any particular skill. It doesn't really stand out in any way. So yeah, comparing it to all these, yeah, no, let's just eliminate it. Because again, when you have a look versus this one or this one, well, this one, these are the miles ahead. So yeah, let's just eliminate it so we won't waste time with it. Winner versus loser in web design contest. Number 17. This is again one of those things where we might select it as a winner, but I have to check if the designer actually provided the links towards free pick or whatever. Even if he did send the links, I think this is what percentage is this a freebie? I mean, I think this is 80 to 90% a freebie. I think this has to be eliminated for the sheer fact that probably this is only one freebie or two freebies combined together, but the actual effort was minimal. I think you didn't do a whole lot here. Now, if you actually styled it in an interesting way, if you actually did, if you chose this particular font, if you applied this particular treatment all by yourself, if you actually looked for these two guys from different packs, okay, that may work, but overall I have a big question mark regarding this one. I don't think it's, look, just looking at this one, right? This probably has freebies as well, but as you can see, this is miles better in terms of the actual composition. This actually shows a lot of effort put into it. This other one doesn't seem like it, right? This seems to be a freebie. If it's not a freebie, that's totally fine. But again, I would be really surprised to find if this is not based 70-80% at least based on a freebie. This one, the photo is distorted on the left side. You know, distorted, I mean, that's... Have you not seen any of my courses? That's something that's really... It's one-on-one. You never distort photos. It's something so basic, so simple. You never, ever distort photos. You maintain the aspect ratio, you click on the chain, and that's that. You hold shift if you're using an older Photoshop version. It is what it is. So yeah, this is quite disappointing. So I'm not even actually gonna continue with it. It's just gonna get eliminated. This other one, it's way too dark. The background photo is actually quite nice, and this stroke can work. This is actually a popular technique nowadays on YouTube, but you have to make it way thicker. I mean, 10 pixels more, maybe 15 pixels more. So this is a valid technique, but yeah, it just doesn't look right. Winner versus loser, again, this doesn't have enough contrast. Overall, this is not a good design. It has decent pieces to a good design, but yeah, overall, it's not a good one. I think what you should have done is you should have simplified it a little bit. You have way too much going on. My website, which is totally fine in the top left corner. Me, okay, that's one focal point, that's one part that you're gonna focus on, but then you have way too much. Just have a look here. So again, we have red here, red here, red here, right? Bit much. Then you have various levels of hierarchy. So this is important, design of podcast, but also number 21 is important as well because of its styling, because it's red, right? Then we have a different styling right here, which basically is less important. I would agree, this is less important than the title, designer podcast, and less important than the number, but it still stands out quite a lot, right? And then we have even more, winner versus loser. The versus is really big. So again, this actually competes for the attention with these three items here. So because everybody is competing for attention, it's just messy, it's just muddy. It's not really all that clear. Photoshop here as well. So again, it's way too many elements. You have to simplify it, right? So because of that, we're gonna eliminate it. This one, okay, based on stock photos. Now this may work. This, people may say this is a bit cheesy, but I think it's a decent one. Winner versus loser. The hair is fairly well cut out. Not the best job. You can see some issues here and there, but yeah. Yeah. Loser. Sorry, loser. That's a typo. That's looser, right? Something is loose, right? So that's written wrong. That's a typo. So yeah, we can't have that. And why can't we have that? Because again, you know, I fairly like this entry, but why am I eliminating it? Because it shows a lack of attention to detail. It shows that you're not paying attention. It shows that once you're done with the design, you haven't actually looked at it in full screen mode. You didn't take a step back and see and analyze it as a whole. You didn't actually put it on your phone. You didn't create the mockup. You didn't actually analyze it in detail. So because of that, because if you were to do that, you would not have looser. You'd have loser. And it's the same thing. I think I said it before in the last stream with someone that constantly wrote bog or something like that instead of blog, right? That's unacceptable. You shouldn't make these tiny mistakes because it just shows that your heart isn't into it, right? To me, it's something very similar to actually writing the name of the company wrong. It's the same thing as writing my name wrong, right? Chris Brain. It's something really hard to accept. It just shows that your heart isn't in it. So yeah, I'm gonna eliminate it because you didn't spell the word right. You may say that's unfair. You know, you may say, hey Chris, you know, English isn't my first language. You know, it happens, typos, everybody, you know, has typos. You might have typos on your website as well. What's up? It is what it is. This is my experience based on what I've encountered on 99 Designs myself. Clients are ruthless. Clients can eliminate you, you know, in general for anything. I don't like orange, so everybody that used orange, get out of here. It's just like that. This is how it happens. So for that reason, I'm gonna eliminate it. This is way too text heavy. Like, share, and subscribe. I have no idea what that is. Like, share, and subscribe, and so small. And again, these text layers so small. I mean, in general, this would work well in a presentation if it were something like this, right? If you're doing a PowerPoint presentation or whatever, a transition in Premiere Pro or whatever, this may work, but I have no idea what you did here. And like, share, and subscribe, this is the thumbnail. The thumbnail doesn't have any controls underneath it. So why would you include these? And these are so small, so tiny. Why would you assume that people are gonna be able to see it? Yeah, so for that reason, I think this is immediately eliminated. Here's another typo here, and this is just a still for my video. Nothing really special here. You can see that the contrast isn't all that great. I'm not sure if this is, I doubt this is my fault. I think the image has a gradient overlay applied to it. You can see that this is lighter and this is darker here. Yeah, I'm not really sure what you did here, but when you want to use a screenshot from the video, you have to make sure you adjust it. It's the same thing as it was here. Make sure the image actually looks nice. If it doesn't look nice, then don't use it. So because of that, we're gonna eliminate it as well. Now we have number 1, number 8, 13, 14, 15, and 17. Okay, let's see what's what. So number 1 looks to me pretty interesting. You can show that this actual designer put some time into it. This one with the poor padding does stand out. It does grab your attention, but overall, I think it's pretty difficult to see what's going on here, especially since there's an overlap here with the trophy and the question mark. Number 8 is a bit simple, you know, but that may work to your advantage. It may draw you in. But the problem is it's not, I think you actually did it in 10 minutes, right? So in general, I think this stands out a bit more than the other ones, but because you did it in 5-10 minutes, because it doesn't show any skill, for the purpose of this specific contest, I don't think you should win. I think this is too loosely based on a freebie. I think this is, again, 70-80% a freebie. Yeah, it is what it is. I appreciate the fact that, again, you made your life easier. In general, if this is 99 Designs, this is how you should go about it. Make your life as easy as possible. But yeah, in this specific contest, I would much rather award this guy or probably this guy because they actually put some work into it. So I'm gonna eliminate it. Let's see. This is a bit difficult, but again, I'm gonna eliminate this one as well, just because again, it's not all that exciting. It's pretty good, but is it better than number 1 or number 14 or number 17? I doubt it. Or number 13 as well. Because number 17, I think it's loose. It's not loosely. It's probably based on a freebie. I think I'm gonna eliminate that one as well. Even if that's not the case, the steel is a bit too much for me. The color scheme is not. It's not something that I would happily use. I mean, these particular shades, they're really too neon-like, and again, for me, it's not something that I like to use in my specific branding. I like to use a different shade of blue. I like to use orange, and I like to use purple. Basically, these are the colors that I like to use. Number 13 and 14. Let's see. Difficult choice. So 1, 13, or 14. This has way too little padding here, and again, it's a bit busy, but it does have the best illustrations. Let me know, guys. Let's see what people say in the general channel. 113 or 14. 113th or 14th. Please vote, guys. Please give it a thumbs up, and let's see what's what. Let's see. What do you guys prefer? So this one has a bit of a problem because, again, there's a typo here. My name is written wrong, and number 22 doesn't really stand out all that much. But podcast, this is a beautiful typeface. The dotted line, I appreciate it. The blue works well because he chose two blues that complement my shirt, so that's pretty good. This is a bit cheesy, the silhouette, but again, it shows that, you know, this person actually worked on it. This one, again, it uses the colors I like. The illustration is beautiful. It's one of the best illustrations that I've seen in these past few weeks. But there's no padding here. The font isn't all that interesting, so it is what it is. This one, this is probably the best concept. I love the typeface. Look at this W. This is fantastic. I like how in a design contest is written. I don't think it has sufficient visibility. Probably this should have been written in maybe gold. I think gold would have been a pretty good choice. And while the idea is great, I think a stroke and a green stroke or the gold stroke with a bigger check mark would have been better. Yeah, hearing everything that I had to say, I think this is gonna get eliminated. I think it's gonna be number one. I think it's gonna be number one because even though I like this concept a bit more, this is better executed. So number one, you're the winner, even though you spelled my name wrong. It is what it is. I think overall you deserve it versus all the other ones. Who made number one? Let's have a quick look and see if we can easily spot who made number one. I love the fact that some people actually, you can see that I can immediately open the design just like that, whereas some people actually integrated it in that email. So this is the user, Krishna. I'm not sure if he or she is in the chat room. I don't think that's the case. I used one freebie. This is the link. Let's have a quick look at the freebie. Oh, just this one. But let's see, we have a background here, but okay, this is pretty non-generic, that's fine. We have the silhouettes here, which is pretty okay. This is pretty okay. I'm really curious how you found this typeface. This is really important. Krishna, sorry for that. Who? Krish, did you create it? Let me know in the general chat so we can have a good chat about it. Yeah, I think overall, yeah, this deserves the win. I think this is the best way to go about it versus all the other ones. So let's do the following. The winner of this week's contest is Krishna, whatever. I'm not gonna try and pronounce your name. I'm gonna ask for the source file, and I'm gonna have a quick chat in the email about this specific typeface, because if you stole this from a specific place, this entire thing, these three, maybe 4 to 5 lines, if you stole it exactly as it is, it's not all that great. It's not a good fit. I'm not gonna be happy if you did that. That would be quite a shame. So that's it, guys, for this week's contest. I'm gonna have a good long think about what's gonna be next, about the next contest. And remember, even though the prize money may be great for you, the whole idea is to make sure that you understand how a design competition actually works and how clients behave. I'm not trying to be a jackass. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to disrespect your work. The cold, harsh reality is that clients are heartless. They never consider anything. They don't care about your sick cat, the fact that you have the flu, the fact that your hand hurts or whatever else. So that's why I'm so blunt. That's why I'm so upfront about all these different mistakes, and I immediately eliminate them, because again, that's how actual competitions work. That's how actual clients make decisions. If they don't like something, they never try and see it from your perspective. They never try and get inside your mind and see what's what. If they don't like it, you're out, and that's it, right? So that's how it goes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Chris Barron signing out. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Have a good one. Bye.